Today's video is all about dealing with objections while selling final expense insurance remotely, and we're even going to cover the difference between true objections and your typical knee-jerk objections, why people tell you that they need the insurance and then 15 minutes later they'll start making excuses as to why, they can't buy right now or don't want to. And check this out, we're even going to touch on the different way of dealing with objections along with when to deflect and go right back to the presentation. And if you'd like a copy of our Overcoming Objections super file, which has scripts and materials on overcoming objections in a lot of different scenarios actually, stick around until the end of this video and I'm going to show you how to get this guy for yourself. Let's talk about the knee-jerk objection along with when and how to deflect. Now, to me, a knee-jerk objection is something that happens in most cases like early in the sales presentation. It's not even a true or real objection. And I want you to think about this. Do you like to be sold anything? Look, I don't, and I really believe that no one does for the most part. Now, hold on a second, hear me out. The last thing that I want to do is sit down for a 45-minute sales presentation, right? And even worse, sitting through a sales presentation with someone who isn't that good of a salesperson. As you know, there are a lot of different types of leads for our industry, for life insurance sales and or final expense sales. At my agency, our prospects will read the word affordable insurance in the first 8 words of our ad. They'll set an appointment with the agent to get a quote, and then a lot of times, when the agent gets them on the phone, they will say anything to make it stop. It's as if the prospects have already regretted their decision to get a quote because they know that once they get the quote, the next step is to pay money for the insurance. They'll set the appointment and then say something like, oh, you caught me at a bad time. I'm not feeling good right now. Can you call back later? Oh, I thought this was for health insurance. We're getting ready to leave right now. All this is really about is getting rid of you, the insurance agent, before you can sell them something. So when they do this early in the presentation, I teach our agents the way that we deal with this is to give them a quick and sensible reply, real quick, real short, and then get back to where you were at the presentation process. In other words, you're just deflecting and right back to the presentation. For example, the client says, I thought this was for solar panels. When they do this, I'm simply stating, oh yeah, I see that stuff online all the time. No. This is about the affordable life and burial insurance. Now guys, that's the deflection. I'm just simply making a quick statement, then I'm going right back to wherever I was in the presentation. The prospect says, oh, I thought this was free through the government. I'm deflecting with, well, Sandy, you and I both know that nothing is free. Now, I can't make any promises because I don't know how bad your health is, but in the event where I can find a carrier that will insure you, I will definitely be able to find you something that you can actually afford. Remember, these plans are for people who can't afford much and are on a low and fixed income. Then I'm going right back to the presentation. Now let's get into that objection that people give after you've made your presentation and it's time to close the sale. And they give you the old, well, I gotta think about it. Or you'll hear this a lot, I gotta speak with my kids before I do anything. When they say and do this, I take it as an opportunity. This is when truly talented sales professionals shine. And unfortunately, this is also when your typical salesperson fails. Sales professionals understand that this is common for people who actually want insurance but are being hesitant on pulling the trigger. Again, nobody wants to be sold something, especially something that they're never gonna see, right? That's life insurance. They're never gonna actually get to use themselves. They will never actually benefit from personally. With the technique that we use, when the prospect gives the objection, we're simply taking this as an opportunity to chat them up and give them more information about that product that we're selling them. I want them to understand the value of the insurance company / insurance carrier product. What I recommend that you do is have your notes for each carrier you're representing so that you're actually prepared to overcome up to 3 different objections. And it doesn't even matter what the objections are. So let's say, for example, I'm writing American Amicable. I'm gonna have 3 sets of notes for that product. The first set of notes covers maybe like the age of the company and even some of the changes that they've made throughout the years. The next set of notes might cover like the AM Best rating that the company has and how they actually got that rating. I'm also going to get into the talking points about A&M Best, you know, how important they are in the industry, who they are, and how it's not at all easy to get an A rating from them, along with the significance of that A rating. In the third set of notes, I might talk about, I don't know, the riders, for example, and both the ones that are included in the plan, and I'll even get into the riders that don't come with the plan, the additional ones. I'll generally get into the rider information when the client tells me that they need to speak with their kids first. Once I've addressed the product and built up the value of that product, I'll move into the why. I'll remind them about the conversation that we just had a few minutes ago, already asked them who the insurance was for and how they just told me they did not want the beneficiary, usually their kids, to be stuck with the full-on financial burden that will exist when that person dies. And then I will mention that we won't need to take a payment today and how that's something we can do much later and not worry about now. We'll deal with that when it's more convenient. I'll also remind them that since they have some serious health problems, diabetes is no joke. We don't even know if they're going to qualify or not. All I can do, Mr. Client, is promise you that I'm going to do everything I can. I will do my very best to get you qualified. And then I'll end by saying, can I make a suggestion? Let's go ahead and start with the bottom option. That way at least you have something in place for your daughter Chloe. If you decide later that you do want her to receive a different amount of money when you die, we can take care of that then. Now let's go ahead and start with that bottom option of $65 a month, okay? Something else that's important to keep in mind, most objections occur for one of two reasons or for both. The affordability concern or lack of trust. If your prospects don't feel confident in you, they'd be a fool to buy from you, right? I mean, can we at least agree on that? That's why it's so important to sound smart and professional, meanwhile, relatable and trustworthy. You have to build as much rapport as possible, and sometimes you even have to go back and like rebuild rapport. You got to text them maybe a photo of your driver's license, an insurance license. Some agents will ask if they have WhatsApp or FaceTime and do that real quick for that personal touch. And sometimes you just got to ask them, is it about the price? People are going to be embarrassed to admit that they can't afford it. I mean, that's normal. If you sense this, simply give them a lower face amount, and again, remind them that the payment won't be due until after they receive their next Social Security payment. If you'd like a copy of the Overcoming Objections super file that I mentioned earlier in the video, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on our remote final expense sales platform or even selling Medicare insurance face-to-face, that's really a face-to-face product for us, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.